Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to Geek Syndicate.
Jeez.
Yeah, professionalism all the way.
And take 35.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to Geek Syndicate episode 312, last episode of the year, last episode of the decade. We are bringing the sass back to geekdom. I am Monts, and with me as always is...
At last, Monteith, we see each other plain. Monsieur le Geek, you'll wear a different chain.
The hell are you doing?
That was a little snippet from my new one-man show for 2020, the new decade. So that's going to be Rum Tum Tucker does the classics. That was a little sneak peek.
What kind of classic was that?
That's from Les Miserables.
Okay.
A little bit of twist, a little frisson on the end
Never
there.
seen it.
You've never seen Les Mis?
No.
Okay.
I've never heard an okay so laden with judgment. You didn't have to have another word to that. That was clear.
But you're the actor and all that. Oh, by the way, everyone, I'm Barry Nugent. What's up? Getting back to the veiled judgment. No, you're the actor and all that. I thought that'd be right up your street. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know.
Not only
I ain't seen Cats neither.
Well, to be honest, there's a line.
Have you seen some of the... So this new Cats, with everyone like morphed into like sexy cats or whatever, but they're also humans and thing. And I've seen the trailer for it, and it just freaks me the hell out.
I won't lie. I can never unsee Idris Elba as a cat.
No. Some things I wish I'd never seen. But I read some of the reviews, man, and I got tears coming out my eyes. It's like people's brain. One of the reviewers said the person he was with at one point just leaned back in their chair and went, "Stop." Someone was like, "I'd rather swallow a fur ball than see that again."
Wow.
It was like every reviewer just lost their damn minds. Anyway, we're not here to talk about cats.
No. What are we here to talk about?
Talk about geek stuff.
Yes.
So I'm up here in Stratford-upon-Avon, and I'm doing a pantomime with singing and dancing, and it's interesting.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, you know, we sometimes we do news, we do whatever, but it's been such a while since we had an episode. There's so much to talk about. We're just going to talk about the week that was. It's kind of like the month that was, isn't it?
Yeah. Because obviously, I was going to say we've moved to putting out episodes monthly, but we've moved to putting out episodes whenever we can.
Life.
Maybe it's monthly, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's just whatever. So Monty is right. We just got so much week that was. I just thought rather than try and format shit out, let's just have a chat.
I just want to start by talking about a bunch of TV shows.
Before we do that, can we talk about comics? Because otherwise we would never talk about comics.
All right, let's do comics.
Once we hit TV, I don't think we're going to come out of that.
I know, because there ain't even like, you know what I mean? If I'm going to talk about movies, I haven't seen that many.
Yeah.
But see, I will say I'm going to see the new Star Wars this afternoon.
I'm not seeing...
After my show.
Okay, I am not going to be seeing it until probably Boxing Day. So I'm trying my best to steer clear of spoilers. I'd just like to say, I think in the new year, in the new decade, there needs to be some sort of coming together of all the varying geek sites. You know, like we have the G8, where all the world leaders come together for like a summit, try and sort of problems out.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a summit in 2020. I'm happy to organise it at my gaff. Bring snacks. And it should be like a spoiler summit where the top geek websites of the world sit around a table and sort out what the hell they're to do about spoilers.
Yeah, come to a treaty about an international treaty about spoilers.
Yeah, because I
With
have
sanctions
and penalties, because I have unfollowed and blocked more geek sites. I am not even talking about random like geek people. I'm talking about sites, geek sites. Do you know what I mean? Who think
that should know better.
Should know better. That think it's okay to kind of spoil stuff like a couple of days after something's come out. Do you know what I mean? And my thing is as well is like the way they're doing it. A lot of them is they're putting the spoiler in their headline. So, and then the headline is hitting Twitter. So a lot of their argument is, well, just don't go to the site. Yeah, but if I'm following you on Twitter, dude, and that comes up in your headline,
no, that's a BS argument. Man. Just don't go to that. That's not how things work these days. Do you know what? It's not 1980. Do you know what I mean? It's social media is king. Everything's interlinked. If you start talking about it, I'm not going to be able to miss it. If I follow you, want me to go through all the sites I follow and unfollow you all just because that's not how you run a business. Nah. That's nonsense.
Putting spoiler in your tweet. I mean, I can't even. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, spoiler. And then the spoiler. It don't make no sense. It just don't.
No, because you know what I mean. It's not like you could turn your eyes off.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Eyes deactivate.
It's like having all your Christmas. It's like having all your presents under the Christmas tree unwrapped, and then someone pushing someone into the room and saying, "Oh, presents are open." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's nonsense.
It's nonsense. So I think there needs to be. And I was thinking about this that in my job I work in IT, and we have this thing called SLAs, which are called service level agreements. So basically, they're things like if a system goes down, it's a sort of agreement that you have with your users to sort of say, we will endeavor to if it's a high level system, we will endeavor to get it back up and running like within an hour, say. Do you know what I mean? There needs to be the equivalent for spoilers, and the name works, so you can still have SLAs, but you call them spoiler level agreements, where you sort of say,
you thought this through.
I have, man. Where you sort of say, depending on the film, maybe, I don't know, and depending on the release date of that film, you know, like if a film has been released within, so like a film comes out today, your SLA might be, we won't put any spoilers in our headlines for a month. I'm just picking numbers out of the air. Do you know what I mean? And then you sort of do a sliding scale. We won't spoil this via Twitter or something for X amount of days, you know?
Yeah.
That sort, you know, we won't spoil major deaths for like, I don't know, 6 months, and really get down to it, and then have sanctions in place if people don't abide by it, and people have to like kind of agree to do it.
I'm all down for that, man. I'm all down for that.
Anyway. That wasn't what I said. That's not what we're here for.
No. Just say I'm going to see Star Wars after my show this afternoon, and I just mention it because I'm going into it. It's, you know what? It's even with the prequels, I was still excited to go to the cinema because there's something about that Star Wars crawl, the music that just touches your heart as an old geek, even if the film turns out to be disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't deny that disappointment. I can't deny that excitement, which kind of makes the disappointment even more poignant when it doesn't kind of measure up to your own standards. But I'm kind of going in and I feel like it's tainted for me, and I'm not going to talk about my reasons till all is done and dusted.
Yep.
I just find it interesting that I read somewhere that John Boyega is setting up his own production company to be able to dictate terms better. Not dictate terms, but I'm putting it into my own words.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if that's in line with what my disappointment is based on. But I just found that interesting.
Yeah.
And I know he had certain criticism of the last one, which he said he talked about with Mark Hamill, and they kind of agreed. I don't know what that was about, but I can't help wondering if it's in line with what I'm thinking about. And this is completely mystic and frustrating if you're listening, but know that at some point I'm going to be having a little rant, which I think goes quite deep. And we'll see how that... But I'm hoping that doesn't taint my enjoyment this afternoon.
Yeah. Yep. And I know what you mean. And I'm not going to, like you say, you know, this is our last podcast of the year, so I want to keep the positivity high. I'm going to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. He says about to kind of get negative. I'm looking forward to seeing it from the point of view that I'm kind of going into it like without any real
expectation.
Any high level expectation, if that makes sense. So
Mm.
I'm looking forward to it because of that, because I don't feel like I'm bringing any kind of weight into it in the same way that I had when I saw the other two films. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of going into it with that kind of, right, okay, do you know what? It's the last film. Come on, you know what I mean? Entertain me. That's kind of what I'm walking in with, which is quite a nice way to be going into it, I think. And also as well, because I have been watching the Mandolrian, that's kind of that's lifted my Star Wars spirits. So
you know what? Let's get to that. We'll get
let's
to
get
that.
into we that were comics.
Comics.
So I want to quickly mention two comics before I let you have your turn of the wheel. This first comic isn't really a comic; it's a run, two runs really. I'd kind of gone away from Batman, right? Batman comics. It's not that I didn't like Batman, but I kind of felt like every time I turned around, there was Batman. Do you know what I mean? It was like you go and make your toast in the morning and Batman's buttering it for you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Batman.
Yeah. Here's your toast. You know, it just kind of felt a little bit like that. But because I've got Amazon Prime, what I hadn't realised is I get something called Kindle Unlimited with it. And what I also hadn't realised is on the Kindle, because obviously Amazon owned Comixology, were a shed load of comics that I could get because I had the Kindle Unlimited package and didn't have to pay for them. Well, obviously I'm paying because I'm getting Amazon Prime, which again is something that is not really rammed home to people by Amazon. And I'm guessing that might be a little kind of deal with Comixology where we're not going to like shout about it too much. Because obviously Comixology have got their own sort of Comixology Unlimited, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm specifically saying as well, if you're based in the UK, you can't get Comixology Unlimited. So this might be a nice way, if you've got Amazon Prime, go and have a look. That's what I'm saying. So basically, I picked up pretty much all of Scott Snyder's run on Batman.
Yeah.
And I'd read this a few years ago, but I stopped when it got to what they called Zero. I think it's called 0 Year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Which was great.
It was just what got tiring was like we're resetting now, but it's like none of the resets are ever a proper reset. So you're kind of like, so what still exists, what still isn't, and it just gets confusion.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. So because now I'm getting it for free, I got all of the 0 Year run. So it's like 4 volumes or whatever. Now, let me tell you, right, if you're gonna like reboot Batman and kind of do his origin again and all the rest of it, and you're just coming to Batman for the first time, that's how you do it.
Really?
That's how you do it. That's how you do it once. Because one of the things that, I mean, I won't spoil 0 Year, all the volumes before it, because the volumes before it are kind of like the sort of Batman origin. But what I quite liked in those comics is the backup stories were centered on Bruce Wayne.
Oh, right. Okay. Nice.
Traveling around the world, getting trained.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a wicked one fighting one in the pit. And it really explains the whole kind of, the lady that's training him is trying to get him to kill. And it kind of explains
who is it that's training him?
I can't remember now. I can't remember. It's not Lady. It's not Lady Shiva.
Okay,
something else. But it kind of is able to do the whole I won't kill, but at the same time I'm still terrifying, even though I'm not killing people. And I thought that was a wicked story, and that wasn't even the main story months. That's just one of the little. Yeah, you go. Do you know what I mean? But 0 Year is basically 4 volumes of a disaster movie starring Batman.
Really?
Yeah, and
because I was like, no, I can't be doing all that 0 Year nonsense.
Right. I think because it's all there for you. So I got, so I read those 4 volumes and then it's done. Do you get what I mean? I mean, obviously the stories that are moving on, there's still ramifications and stuff, but effectively there's a beginning, middle, and end to that story.
So how does that? So the only Tom King Batman I've read was I Am Gotham.
No. This is Scott Snyder.
Oh, Snyder. Sorry.
I think Tom King. I don't know if he comes afterward because I'm reading the Tom King run and that's been amazing as well.
No, I think that comes way after then.
Yeah.
That comes out of Rebirth.
Yes, yeah. So I know, and
it's just
I know.
ridiculous.
So
man.
I'm not even trying to follow that one from continuity point of view. I'm just picking it up and reading it, and again because I've been loving that as well. But what I love about this is, like I said, it just feels a bit like a disaster movie, and Gotham's gone to hell in the handbasket, and like to say Batman gets pushed to his limits. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of an understatement. However, it manages to take the Riddler, who I have never rated as a villain, never, and put him up there as like a proper master criminal, like proper.
Really?
Yeah, my boy is like 15 steps ahead of everyone through most of this.
And that's, you know, what's interesting about that. So Batman's got this rogues gallery, and a lot of them, at the end of it, your Joker, it's a bloke who's a bit mad, who's nuts. Yeah, and you're like, but he's going against Batman, the most, you know, wealthy, well-trained. I mean, come on, it doesn't really make sense. The Riddler is a guy like riddles. Doesn't really make sense. So you need someone to take these characters and make them proper.
Yeah. So yeah, Zero. Yeah, you got to get on that once. It's cool, and the art is lovely. Like I said, so it's written by, according to the blurb, Scott Snyder and James Tyrion, with artwork by Greg Capullo, Danny Mickey, and Raphael Albuquerque. Which I said wrong. Batman Zero year. Get on it.
Cool. I haven't really read any comics. I've just been out of it. Whenever I'm learning a script, my kind of reading just goes out of anything goes out the window. So I haven't. So all I'm going to say is that coming at the end of the decade, and it's all things we've talked about before. All I'm going to say is my recommendation is you get on Black Hammer. Not you. Get on Black Hammer from Dark Horse Comics. And actually, it's a good time to do it because it's not too. Because I'm going to say get on BPRD, Bureau of Paranormal Research and Development. But if you do, I wouldn't even know where to tell you to start because there's so many. If you start from the beginning, there's a lot of reading. It's worth it. There's a lot of reading. But Black Hammer. This is a good time to jump on because I think there's 3 volumes out so far, which isn't, what's that? 18 comics.
Yeah. Also, I think it's because I've read the last one now, so that story's finished now, isn't it? Supposedly.
But it's kind of moved to another place, really. I mean,
okay.
Well, I don't know. I've been reading the trades, not the comics, so I might be a bit behind where you are.
Right. Okay. But yeah. After I'd finished all the BPRD stuff, I know it's still kind of going in different ways, but that kind of main story.
So I haven't finished Hell on Earth yet.
Man.
So that's my New Year's. That's my New Year's sort of reading there. Hell on Earth.
BPRD, Hell on Earth, and all the stuff that came before it. That to me, that's if I got to pick one thing for me this year, it's that. I'd probably even say this decade because it's just people just putting it on the line, man.
Yeah. And it's not a continuity that's so entwined that you get lost in it. Like, which, you know, people watch the Marvel and DC movies and said, all right, where do I start reading? I don't know. But there's a continuity in BPRD, but it's easily navigatable. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and some quick mentions I want to get into. Comics. One's called Dungeon Fun, because I know, like, you are always after sort of you always talk about. I can't believe this. I can't believe that I'm a geek and I can't spell dungeon.
No, Dungeon's a funny one. I'll let you off that one.
Yeah, I think I got there. Yeah, Dungeon Fun, which is by Colin Bell and Neil Sorrence. And the blurb is, this is a story of a girl and a sword raised by trolls in the moat of a castle. Fun mudlifter lives a life of boredom.
Fun mudlifter.
Yeah, until one day when the adventure finds her and the sword plummets into a village. So what I'll say quickly is, again, lovely art. All ages. We need more all ages comics, and this was like proper laugh out loud funny. So it's almost that kind of when Pixar at its best, where it works on multiple levels. So yeah, Dungeon Fun. I think they've got another one they're working on called Pirate. I think it's called Pirate Fun. Which they did. Yeah, Pirate Fun, the first trial. They did a Kickstarter for it. and it follows on from Dungeon Fun. I'm all over that when that comes out. So yeah, Dungeon Fun. Links in the show notes, and a tribute to Dungeons and Dragons fans everywhere is a comic called Roll the One, which is written and drawn by Chris Boldy. Chris Boldy, the name.
Yeah.
From BHP Comics, which I just loved. It's all about kind of how we form new friendships, and it's all set around sort of a Dungeons and Dragons team of kids. And yeah, I just loved it. It reminded me sort of just being a kid again, and making friends and all the rest of it. So yeah.
Oh, do you know what I said? I haven't read any comics. I'm lying. One comic I've got to talk about. So, what's my favourite comic character?
The Question.
Right, so the Question's back.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned this, didn't you?
Yeah, so DC are doing what they call Black Label comics.
Right.
And it's a different format. So it's square. It's not like, what's the word for thing with four sides? It's not square.
Rectangle.
It's not a rectangle.
Man, we're not scoring any intelligent points this episode.
What's that thing with four sides?
How do you spell dungeons?
So the Black Label comics, they're square and they're bigger than normal. So I was at work and I was like, I've got to get a Question comic. I haven't bought a proper comic in years, so I'm just getting trades or digitally. But I was like, it's the Question. I've got to get a comic. So I went in, could not find this comic anywhere. So I had to go and ask, and the dude was like, "Yeah, because they've got a weird size, we have to put them over here." Yes, yeah, so like,
oh wow,
they're like out of the way. So I'm like, in terms of storage and display, I get that it's a nice gimmick, but I don't think they've really done themselves any favors. But so the original comic series from DC was written by a guy called Denny O'Neil, who's just a legend, comic book legend. But the covers were by Bill Sienkiewicz. And they were a thing of beauty. And the interior art was done by Dennis Cowan. So they had this team going, and it was brilliant. So they're bringing the Question back now. So initially, the Question died. He died of cancer and passed it on to Renee Montoya as a woman.
Yeah.
And so my thing is like, don't go bringing him back. You're right. I hate this like bringing people back to life business. Yeah, for no good reason, especially if their death meant something. Yeah, let it go. I didn't want him to die. I thought there was many more stories to tell. But he's gone, so let's deal with it. Done. Yeah, let's move on. Let's keep moving. You know my thing about comic universes, they just kind of stall.
Yeah.
They keep going cycles. I'm like, no, let's move on. Now they've brought him back, and I'm okay with it because basically they've rebooted the whole universe anyway. So
okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and that's what I hate that they've rebooted it. I'm like, let's just change. But still, they've done it. So bringing him back kind of fits because he hasn't died in this universe. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But they've brought it back with the original team.
Oh, okay.
Except Denny O'Neil died. Unfortunately, he was meant to come over to England. I was like, I'm going to meet Denny O'Neil, and then he got ill. So it was tragic.
Yeah.
So they brought in Jeff Lemire. Now, Jeff Lemire is a writer extraordinaire, as far as I'm concerned.
So he's the Black Hammer dude, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And he did. So around the time I was initially getting into the Question, I was also getting to the Animal Man written by Grant Morris. And Jeff Lemire did Animal Man in later days and did some amazing stuff. It's like Jeff Lemire is writing the Question. Now, it's called The Question, The Deaths of Vic Sage, who is the Question. And I was threatened, I was scared. This is my character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen other people take him and write him, and I'm like, I don't really recognize him. This is like it never went away.
Right, okay.
It feels like the Vic Sage I know. And I was like, so where in the continuity is this? Oh, they've gone right back. They've got characters that you haven't seen for years since the original. They are taking the canon and giving it respect and love. And it's a little bit different because it was always going to be, and really it should be because it's a different time, moved on. But utter total respect for the source material. And just watching him, and he's a bit more like he was to begin with, just like belligerent, arrogant, whatever, until like life changed him, and it looks like life is going to change him again, but different ways. And I just cannot wait to see how it unfolds. I'm excited. I never expected. I approached this thing with caution, and I'm there, man. I'm there, and the art is gorgeous. I'm excited. I'm excited.
So is this like? So it's ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
I think is it 5 episode issues? I can't remember.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's a limited series.
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, so I'm tempted to either do a subscription on the bad boy and then wait until all 5 are out, or maybe check out the first one and see whether or not I want to keep going with it.
I mean, this is old school question. This ain't your Justice League Unlimited question.
Yeah. Which I don't think I've read any. To be honest, the only time I was exposed to the question.
Most people haven't.
No, the only time I was exposed to the question was in the JLU cartoon, and when he was in 52.
Yeah, and they took him and they did him justice in those things. But the JLU cartoon, they did him justice, but it was a slightly different spin.
Yeah.
On it, but it was brilliant spin. So one of the sadder things in geekdom for me in the last 10 years was the death of a friend and fan, Eric Martin. And one of the things we bonded over was the question. And we had many discussions about the question. And I miss talking, always having someone who was as rabid about the question as I was. And I just think he would have loved this. And I would love to have chatted to him about it. So the next issue I read, that time is dedicated to you, Eric. I'm going to raise a glass in your name and enjoy it for us both, buddy.
Yeah. Likewise, when I pick this up, it would be the same. Yeah. Good old Eric, man.
So, should we talk? Should we talk TV?
Yep. Let's hit it. TV.
Can I start?
Yeah. You go first.
This is a bit of a rant.
Oh,
it's a positive rant. It's a positive.
Okay,
rant.
All right. We'll see how it pads out.
So it's a rant in 2 ways. One, because DC Universe is annoying me because stuff isn't available in the UK.
Oh.
You're forcing me to make weekly trips to America to watch certain shows, and that just annoys me. And the other reason I'm ranting about is because I can't believe people are talking about this more. Yeah. So. There's 3 shows, and I feel like these shows belong in the same kind of vein. They feel like the production teams are similar, kind of almost got not really a shared vision, but that kind of thing. So like you've got with Marvel, you've got the street level ones: Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, blah blah blah, and they've all got a similar feel to them. And I feel like in DC terms, there's 3 TV shows that have not quite similar, but a similar feel to them in terms of production values. And so that's Titans. Now, everyone is talking about Titans, so that's all good.
Yeah.
That's great. There's Swamp Thing, which got cancelled after the first episode. I mean, they made the season. They did make the season, but they cancelled it. And I'm reading online, it said, it was because of a money thing. And then someone says, actually, that was debunked. That's nonsense. So no one's quite sure why it was cancelled, as far as I could tell. But the Swamp Thing, it was great. It was respectful of the source material. It was entertaining to watch. The characters were great. And it's set down south in the swamps. Yeah, and there's this tough sort of sheriff woman. Yeah. And it's like, basically, she seems nice, but don't mess with her. Yeah. Because she'll mess you up. She'll mess you up. And I'm watching it saying, there's something familiar about this woman. Yeah, here it is. It's what's her name? The title character from Flashdance back in the day.
Oh,
is it Jennifer Beal or something like that?
Beal, innit? Yeah.
And I was like, what? I'm like, what a feeling. Could you feel it? Nah, man. Just give her a sawn off and you're done. I was like, but it was good. It was good.
Okay, because that's on Amazon Prime, isn't it, now?
Is it?
Yeah, because I meant to. It was on there. I haven't seen it on there now, actually, so I have to have a look for it. Because I was going to watch it via that.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe that is where I watched it. And maybe I didn't fly to America for that one. But so you got Titans, great. You got Swamp Thing, great, but gone. And I understand because our boy Dan was saying that Dan Marshall was saying that he really wanted to watch it, but couldn't face the heartbreak of knowing there wouldn't be any more if it was really good.
Yeah.
Um, so the third one that no one's really talking about is Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember, but when they announced they were doing the Justice League movie, I think I said to you, I might even have said it online, that rather than going the Marvel way of doing the superheroes and getting them all together in a team, they need to do something different. And my suggestion was that they do Doom Patrol, because Doom Patrol's a bit different. It's a bit out of left field. Yeah, and they were the original X-Men outcasts coming together. But they got Cyborg in it, and I'm like, Cyborg's actually meant to be a Titan, so technically I'm a bit dubious, blah blah blah. I watched this show. This is my TV show of the year, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
And I know that might not be, everyone's got different ways of.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But for me, I'm like, this is my favorite superhero show, full stop. Because it's just people going, oh, things are a bit formula these days, with the super. I love the superhero stuff. It's all a bit formula. If that's what you think, get off your ass, get hold of some Doom Patrol. Because that ain't form. Stop your complaining. Because what you're asking for is out there. Go look for it. It's
Yeah.
right there waiting for you. Damn you, DC, for not making it easily available. But it's there. It's there. And it is genius. And it's got Alan Tudyk as the villain.
Oh, okay.
And you put him in the show, I'm in, just full stop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I can't tell you. I mean, it's nuts. It's full on nuts. But I love it. You got Robot Man, Negative Man, Elastigirl, Crazy Jane, who's got like multiple personality disorder, and each of her personalities got a different superpower. And the villain's called Mr. Nobody. And again, it's a very different twist on the source material, but utterly respectful of it.
Isn't the Doctor in it? Is it Timothy Dalton as a leader?
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, see, I was in from that.
Yeah, and he's got Chief. They call him Chief.
Right.
Got to find the Chief. Basically, Mr. Nobody kidnaps the Chief, and they've got to find the Chief. It's all about them, but they're working through their different issues to do it.
Right.
And man, there are some moments in there. I can't even begin to describe some of the madness in there. But it's great. So in the comic, their headquarters for a while was a sentient cross-dressing street called Danny.
I haven't really got a response to that.
But it was better than that. Do you remember It Ain't Half Hot Mum from back in the day?
Oh yeah.
And there was a guy in there who did a act as a woman. He dressed up as a woman. His name was Danny LaRue.
No, Danny LaRue wasn't in Ain't Half Hot Mum.
He was.
Was he?
Yeah.
Nah, it was Melvin someone. I know the guy. Two different guys. It was Melvin someone.
It was. Danny LaRue. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that.
All right.
So he'd do a lot of drag acts. So Danny LaRue is French for Danny the Street.
Ah, okay.
So I'm like, oh, come on, I love it. So I don't know, I always thought that what Grant Morrison did with the Doom Patrol was so damn clever. And basically in the show, they've got they've got the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol, they've got the old school Doom Patrol, they've not ignored anything, and they've given it all tribute, and I love it. I can't love it more. That is my favourite superhero show of the decade.
Damn. I mean, this is the thing, it's I keep saying this. I think there seems to be a lot of argument and moaning and whatever online and stuff. And sometimes you've got to come offline, because I don't care what anyone says, man, we are living in a golden age of geekdom where there is literally something for everyone.
I never imagined they would make a Doom Patrol TV show. I hoped deep down in my heart. I never imagined it. And it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. Yeah. It's hard to get at the moment if you're not living in the US, but it's there. Yeah.
Before you even talk about the big stuff that's been going on, like with the Avengers and all that, and all those sort of films and shows.
About them.
You know what I mean? But I'm watching season 4 of The Expanse at the moment, and it's like, why are more people not talking about that show? It's got a following, but in my mind, it should have Game of Thrones level following because that show is boom.
Yeah. You know what it is? I think, I don't know. I think maybe the time will come because I think a lot of people. I'm with people right now who will go, "Oh yeah, I don't do science fiction. I don't like that kind of thing's not for me." Yet they're all watching Game of Thrones, and I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
They're all in the same ballpark, love."
Yeah, you just need to give things. And as I said, I think it's just a different world. But I think part of the problem now is a lot of the success of Game of Thrones came from the fact there wasn't, looking at the norms, there wasn't anything really like that out there in the same way as we have now. And Amazon wasn't a thing, and Netflix wasn't a thing. And now we are inundated by genre stuff. So I think it's very difficult now to almost get another Game of Thrones level following. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm just looking at my list of things I've been watching, and it's just ridiculous, actually.
Yeah. So
I mean, if I do a really quick list of things I've loved this year, do you know what I mean? Umbrella Academy, Swamp Thing, Titan, Star Trek Discovery, Orville, Stranger Things, Seis Manos.
Well, stop. We can't just list Seis Manos. Me and you ain't spoken about that show yet. So let's just hold it there for a second.
All right, okay, moving on.
Right.
Seis Manos.
So Seis Manos. So I've got. Let me see. I've got the blurb here. I've got the blurb. Hang on. Seis Manos. Orphans. So this is a cartoon. It's an animated cartoon on Netflix. So the blurb is: orphans raised by a martial arts master are thrust into a mystery involving demonic powers, drug cartels, ancient rituals, and blood sacrifice. I feel that pretty much sums up.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah. Now, I haven't even listed any shows in terms of like top threes or anything like that, but this is one of my top shows of the year, if not the decade, right? Reason being, back in the day when we were kids, we all loved late night martial art films. We loved them. In our school, Snake and the Eagle, Shadow, Drunken Boxer, Return, Shaolin, Return to the 36 Chamber. We We lived for them sort of films, right? And I was a big fan of John Carpenter films. So, and not like the horror ones, but more like Assault on Precinct 13, The Escape from New York, and all that.
Yeah.
So you take the John Carpenter vibe of those films, and you take your classic old school martial arts, not this new nonsense, your old school martial arts, right? And then you bring in some top level, almost anime style animation, and you merge those three things, and you just got a kick-ass show.
Yeah, it's not quite full on anime style.
No. But the animation needed to be of a level for the kind of martial arts that you're dropping.
Like you say, we're veterans of late night kung fu, yeah? And it's like, I'm watching this and I'm like, you know what? I recognize the style of kung fu that one's using. And that one. And I was like, hold on, that's drunken style.
That's what I'm saying.
It was on form, man.
And also, let me tell you, right? This is a round of applause, right? Hands down, one of my fave villains in a show, hands down.
Yeah.
When the villain is revealed, right? This is a man you don't want to fuck with, man.
For real.
That man will F you up, man.
Yeah. And you know what? But also, Mike Coulter is in it. He plays Luke Cage. And I have to be honest, and I'm not, no badness to my boy, because I enjoyed Luke Cage. But I feel like acting slightly better.
It's not even slightly. No, do you know what, Monts, right? It ain't even slightly. What the difference is it always felt, and I enjoyed Luke Cage, right? But it just didn't seem to be really having any fun with the character. And I know that wasn't. I know that wasn't the style they were doing with Luke Cage. But for me, watching this, it was almost like you took Luke Cage, buddied him up with Black Dynamite, and then threw him in this show. And it just looks like my boy it looks like Mike Coulter was turning up to work, loving life.
Yeah.
Because the lines he's dropped, every word out of that character's mouth is a line. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm loving it. Loving him. Man, this
And the
show.
cop and the woman cop who
Yeah,
kind of buddies up with him as well. She gives him as good as he's giving, man. No, it's quality. It's
it
quality.
is. I'm loving it. So I continue from my little list. You could just stop me.
Yeah.
So what else was it? There was Doll's House. You didn't watch that, did you?
No.
Dollhouse, I think. No, Russian Doll. Sorry, Russian Doll.
Oh no. Do you know, oh man, there's too much, Mons. There's too much.
It's too much.
This is the one with the woman that keeps dying over and over again, doesn't she?
Yeah. Then she meets a dude who's also dying over and over again, and they've got to sort it out before the world is destroyed.
Do you know what?
It doesn't come over like epic sci-fi. It comes over like a character study of two people, but it's quite funny. It's got dark humor. It's just, watching these people change as humans. It was a beautiful journey.
So this was a Netflix show. So also to say, I didn't watch this show for ages, and one of the reasons I didn't watch it is because it was sold to me as like Groundhog Day.
Mm.
And my problem is like I love Groundhog Day the film, but so many shows, it's almost like any show that goes a certain amount of time eventually does a Groundhog Day episode.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Stargate did it. See, I only just thought I can't even think of Stargate now, but trust me, plenty of shows have done it. But so I was kind of, I don't really want to watch a Groundhog Day type show. It's just going to annoy me, you know. But what they did with it was they took that trope and then kind of spun it on its head a little bit.
Yes.
And did different things with it. In the same way, there was that other show back in the day, which was, I think the show was called Daybreak.
Was that was, what's his name? That's a show no one ever talked about.
I know, and that show was great. It was a brother.
Great.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, one of them annoyingly good-looking brothers, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so they kind of took that and kind of spun it on its head, and there was some great little twists and turns in it, and she was funny, man.
Yeah. All right, so we're not going to spend time. We said goodbye to Cloak and Dagger this year, which I don't. Did you watch that?
Didn't watch any of that.
No, the season 2 wasn't. I wanted a bit more from it, but at the same time, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Mm. But that's gone. We said goodbye to Into the Badlands. Do you see what I paused? I was waiting for that. I was waiting for the applause that was coming.
Show, man. Let me say, all I've got to say about Into the Badlands, because like you say, we got a lot to get through, is that one of the best sort of 2-on-1 fights that I remember seeing back in the day was Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon against Darth Maul. So you want back that film, that last fight, boom. However, Into the Badlands has a fight in the last episode where I want to say, well, there's 2 fights, and one of them is like 2 against 1, and one of them I think is 3 against 1.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And both of those fights give the Jewel of the Fates a run for its money, and this is a TV show.
Choreography in his TV show was off the chart.
On point. I'm gutted it got cancelled. Because there was mileage, man. There was mileage.
So moving on to one of my favourite, one of my favourite zombie shows was Kingdom.
Show. That was a show. Let me tell you, if I ever wanted to be in a show and be a particular character, there's one character in that show that doesn't know the meaning of quitting or dying. Until I ain't dying until the dust is done, man.
Yeah.
Nah, that dude. And proper chipping.
These people are afraid. That.
I was going to say, Kingdom is basically the water margin mixed with Walking Dead.
Yeah, set in a medieval South Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just good. TV show that took me utterly by surprise, which having started reading the comic and found it unnecessarily abusive. I wasn't going to go anywhere near it. I thought I don't need that in my life. I was convinced to go watch it, and to my utter surprise, loved the hell out of it. Was The Boys.
Oh, okay. See, I've watched the first episode, and I wasn't sure
No, and I get it. I utterly get it. But I think it was worth it. I
Is it one
think
of
it
those
was
ones
worth.
I need to stick with it, John?
Yeah, yeah. It's just good.
Okay.
Carl Urban. He's such a bastard in it.
Right.
Despite his dodgy English accent, yeah. But it's just, I mean, you get to the end and you're like, I don't know I don't know how you're gonna get out of this. Just I don't know what your way out. He's so outpowered. You know what I mean? Because the boys are just a bunch of ordinary, non-powered people trying to take down corrupt superheroes. And
Yeah.
it's like, how can you win this? How? It's like, I don't know. So that's there. And it's been renewed for a season 2.
Yeah.
There's one we've got to talk about. So I'm just going to recommend The Protector. I'm just going to go, it's Turkish sci-fi. It's kind of contemporary sci-fi. It's just a guy who discovers he's got, it's urban fantasy, actually. That's better. He's discovered he's the Protector. He's just an ordinary street guy who discovers the fate of the universe rests on him. He's got to find this evil guy and destroy him. So he's got to learn how to fight and wear this vest that makes him the Protector. Blah, blah, blah. Really good Turkish Netflix. But the one we do have to talk about and give a little bit of time to, and I haven't finished it yet, I'm only halfway through, is Pennyworth.
Oh.
Oh, also, it was Ty Diggs that was in Daybreak.
That's it. Ty Diggs,
If you Google Daybreak, all you'll get is this teen post-apocalyptic series that's on at the moment. It won't even come up.
Yeah.
So I had to do a little bit of digging. It's just great. Daybreak. That was from what year?
I can't even remember months.
2006.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pennyworth.
Yeah, Pennyworth.
Again, this was a show I had no intention of watching.
Likewise.
I've got to give big up to Nick Wilkinson because she was the one who told me to go and watch it. Because I was like, I don't really want to watch a story about like how Alfred became like Alfred. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm happy watching Alfred being Alfred and showing some skills and let you go, whoa, what was this dude's history?
Yeah. Now, the things that made me more interested in it was that it was going to be set in the 60s.
Mm.
And I saw a little clip of it, and Alfred basically came across a bit like a young Michael Caine.
Do you know what? You say he came across.
Well,
I'll go further than that. He is basically channeling a young Michael Caine, even down to the way he uses his voice, the way he uses the words he said. And I can easily imagine that the last ever episode is going to be Michael Caine going, just reminiscing. But,
so go on.
Yeah, go on. I was gonna say, I wasn't interested, and I was like, "What's the point? Batman's not in it. Why is it even a DC project?" And weirdly enough, having watched it, it doesn't even need to be a DC project.
No,
because it's got no relationship to any of it, really. No. It's got. And there's some characters in it, and you go, "What a shame! I already know how you're going to die because your name's Thomas Wayne and your name's Martha Wayne, so I know how you end." So, but apart from that, it's bizarre because it's not 60s London like you and I know it. Do you know
what it reminds me of? I would say it kind of like, to me, if you were going to do like a reboot of the Avengers, and by the Avengers, I don't mean like the Avengers with Iron Man and Captain America. I'm talking about, it used to be a show in the UK called The Avengers with John Steed and Emma Peel. If you were going to do a gritty reboot of that and set it in the 60s, this is kind of the London that it would be set in.
Yeah.
Because it's got that kind of weird off-kilter touch to it, almost a little bit like The Prisoner.
And it is weird in that, I mean, they still do public hangings.
That London's dark, man.
It's dark, man. You see beef eaters wandering the streets. It's a very odd mix of. It's kind of steampunk without the steampunk. In that, it just mixes older England with 60s England.
Yeah.
It's just really bizarre. The characters in it are just. Oh, there's that weird one bit. It's dark as well. It's brutal. There's one bit where they say they've got some guy. They said, "Yeah, take him to the barbers and yet they ain't cutting his hair.
Oh man!
And it's just like they've got him in this barber chair in this cell, and you just see the barber, and he's dressed like a traditional barber, and he just walks around with his cutthroat razor, and all you can hear is. And I was like, oh man, this is dark and deep.
Yeah, it's a cold show, man. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, man.
Yeah, and the guy playing Alfred is fantastic.
Yeah, he kind of holds the show together, to be honest.
He does. Yeah, and it's quite funny that his best friends are called Dave and Baz.
I know. It's not even Dave; it's Dave Boy. Everything's like, what, Dave Boy?
Dave Boy. All right, so there's Pennysworth. What else are we on?
So quickly, because we're running out of time. Have you seen? I want to talk to you about Watchmen, but I want to talk to you about that in the new year when you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I wasn't. Yeah. I decided to stay well away from it, but I've been convinced otherwise, so I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah, and I think I don't really want to talk about it until you've seen it because I want to talk with you about it because I think that's going to be a bigger conversation. I think.
Yeah.
So, have you watched any of The Mandolrian?
Yes, I have.
So I want to say, obviously, first off, right, Disney, if you're listening, the world is a connected place now. So if you're going to launch something, and I know there's licensing issues, but if you're going to launch something which is a new Star Wars TV show, which has never happened before, that shit needs to be global.
I feel like I've gone, here you are, Disney, take my money. And they've gone, no thanks. We'd prefer if you steal from us if you'd like to keep up.
You know, and the problem is, because I'm still planning to get, because Disney's going to drop over here in March, right? And I'm planning to get it. I'm planning because Sue wants to get it as well because the show she wants to watch it or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. And they're going to have the Marvel show. So I'm going to get it, right? Or certainly check out the 30 to see what it's like. But I'm going to have to rejig things around, I reckon. So certain things might go. I don't know. But my decision for, having Wordy Bucket to hook me up with it was because I didn't want to be spoiled. And I watched the first episode of it. We're going to come back to our thoughts on it. But I thought, how badly is it going to be spoiled? This show is spoiled. So this is what gave rise to my vent at the beginning of the episode. This show has not only been spoiled by like everyone, right? Every site is just spoiling it left, right, and centre, including UK sites who technically shouldn't have it.
Mm.
And we're going to be very careful in what we say because I don't want to have had all that rant and then basically just proceed to spoil it.
Yeah.
So when it comes out in March, we'll have a proper discussion about it. But I want to just talk overall vibes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hear you.
So you go.
So I've only seen. I think I've seen 3 episodes.
Okay.
So the music. I'll leave that to you. I'll leave that to you to talk about the music. It comes off with a big Western vibe.
Yeah.
To it. It's got kind of a lot of Western tropes over it, and it works. The characters are just intriguing because they're not overdumping you with information about who they are and why they are. It's just coming out piecemeal, and I love that. It keeps you intrigued in the characters. I love that it's a different kind of Star Wars. It's not the usual lightsabers, blah, 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 blah. Not that everyone loves lightsabers, but it's gone, do you know what? There's other corners of the Star Wars universe. Let's explore them a little bit more, even though it's kind of dovetail into it a little bit. I'm a bit confused about when it's set at the moment, but I'm okay with that. Essentially, what I've seen so far, I've absolutely adored.
Okay. In terms of when it's set, I believe it is set after the original trilogy. Yeah, so for me, what I love about it, and this is the thing that this goes to the heart of the thing that we always say about these kind of properties like, Star Wars and these ongoing properties is, this is how you extend a universe. Just telling me a universe is a universe and you're only going to sit in one pocket of it and sit around with the same characters, that isn't extending your universe.
Yeah.
Right? What this show has been doing, I think anyway, has been explore. Yeah, let's explore a little bit more. Let's explore this universe a bit more. And what they've managed to do is do that with characters that we have no history with.
Yeah.
And yet, by the end of the first, and I'm not, I'm choosing words carefully, but by the end of the first episode, let alone the fact that I've seen 7 episodes now, by the end of the first episode, you're invested in those characters. You care about those characters.
And this is my whole thing about universes having to move on, because people say, "Oh, I couldn't see Dredd without Dredd. I couldn't see DC Universe without Clark as Superman." I'm like, you do it right, and we will accept those characters. I believe personally. But anyway, we're getting back to the Mandalorian.
Yeah. So, but also, what I love the look of the show. You say it's a bit different. It's got a Western vibe, and it kind of has that, but. For me, Star Wars came out in 1977, right? Now, this show come out in 2019, so it's got all the obviously behind the scenes, it's got technology off the chart compared to Star Wars, and yet the way they've done it, you could literally drop that show. Go back in time.
Right into the continuity where it fits.
And bring that show out in like Mandalorian, 1978, The Mandalorian came out. And you wouldn't know once.
You
wouldn't know. That's what's so quality about the show. It's just, the level of detail to kind of de-age it almost, to make it look beat up and all the rest of it.
It does look beat up.
So it's giving it that Star Wars vibe where it's kind of it's set in a world which looks like it's been given a kicking. Do you know what I mean? It
does. You feel like the world is tired.
Yeah, and it's like at any moment it's gonna kick off. At any moment, wherever he goes, it just feels on edge. The music. All I can say about the music is dum 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 dum. So what that tells you is, it took me one show and I knew that theme down.
Yeah.
That's all I got. And I think Stace made a really good point. We recorded an episode we talked about it, and she said, given the fact it isn't John Williams doing the music for this, and the music actually feels very different, and yet it still feels Star Wars.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, because it's like you listen to it and it goes, that's not Star Wars, but it is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Really interesting. That's a nice point.
And it kind of, and I think, and what this show has done, which I suppose Star Wars kind of did and didn't do, is you had a character, Boba Fett's a Mandalorian, isn't he?
Mm. Or he's someone in Mandalorian armor.
Yeah, potato. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what this show has done is show you just how badass these people are.
Yeah.
In the same way that the original trilogy showed you what a fully fledged Jedi could do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what this is doing in an almost parallel way, kind of thing. Quality. It far exceeded my expectations for it. And to be honest, I didn't even have any expectations. I wasn't even bothered about it.
I think just because I didn't know a lot, but I knew a little bit about Mandalorians, and I knew they were meant to be badass. I think my understanding was the only thing that made them defeatable was their own internal politics and divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, if you're giving me someone who's meant to be this badass, this could be a really interesting show. I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm only 3 episodes in, and it hasn't disappointed so far.
Mate, you got some quality to come. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But the other thing it does, even though there's a kind of story, there is a story running through the background, it's more old school. It's more that kind of almost like A-Team format where it's kind of like a story every week type thing.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. You know what I mean? It feels
It's
like
refreshing. There's no fatigue there, though, is there?
no, and it's just no. Yeah, there's a couple of episodes people weren't necessarily happy about, but to be honest, I've enjoyed them all. Yeah, I've enjoyed it all. That's how you do it, man. It's made me more excited for future Star Wars projects that they're gonna do. Round up.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I don't know, that's exploration of.
Sorry, really quickly, 1 minute. I'm gonna do this in 1 minute.
Go on.
I have watched again because UK has been effed over. I have watched the first 3 episodes of the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover from the CW network.
Can I just say, so, because I'm way behind on everything, and I thought, right, I need to catch up a bit. So I did a bit of research, and I figured what I need to watch was the Elseworlds crossover from last year.
Yeah.
And Arrow. And I read on Wikipedia, I thought, I don't need to watch any of the other CW shows, but I feel like I need to watch Arrow.
Yeah.
So I started, and last week I watched the Elseworlds crossover.
Mm-hmm.
It's got its issues. I'm going to call it the CW issues. It's got some blatant CW issues all over it. Yeah. But I enjoyed the hell out of that crossover, man. They did that well. They did it justice as well. I was like, yeah, I know, I enjoyed that.
Well, if you like that, you're gonna like Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's pretty much. I can't say anything else because I will spoil it. But I sat in my office watching it right on my own, and there were times where I was literally screaming down the office with excitement with certain things that happened. I was like, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they went there. Yeah. Fair play, because they poured some money in it, man.
Yeah. Okay. No, I've heard a lot of good things about that online.
Yeah. Brandon Root.
Yeah. So we've talked a bit about our recent watching, and we've talked about the stuff we've enjoyed this year, and putting out some, not many, but a few things that we've enjoyed in the decade. So the next time so let us know what was your favourite for the year, for the decade, if you like. You know how to do it. Check us out at geeksyndicate.co.uk. Email us at thegeeks@geeksyndicate.co.uk. Find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter.
So big thanks to everyone over the last several months who have been donating to the show. It's been a great help to help us keep the podcast coming and the website afloat. If you want to donate, you can via our PayPal, which is thegeeks@geeksyndicate.co.uk. Every penny goes back into the show. But yeah, big love to everyone that's already donated.
And so the next time you hear from us, it will be a new year, a new decade, a new day for geekdom.
A new dawn. Well, probably won't be.
Yeah. Might be a new dusk.
Yeah, just be next time, really.
Yeah. So till next time, happy Christmas and a happy New Year. Geek Syndicate, we out.
We out.